Let's change tack again to another area. It's funny because I was listening to Webby and what's his name, Mark Devlin, and Devlin was asking him about where's RTS going to play this year, and Webby specifically said, "Oh, I'm not going to fall for that trap like I did last year. So wait till you see it pretty much on the field." That's an interesting comment. It kind of leaves you in a bit of a loop as to it makes it more mysterious, like, oh, he's got to do something drastic or something different, like play him at fullback. But
Yeah.
where do you think where we might play him? But also, where do you think is best for him? From for RTS and a second year back, and based off what we saw last year, what's the best step for him in your opinion?
I'm going wing. I think for sure as a wing. I think the loss of Montoya going to the doggies has just opened up that spot perfectly for him. We got someone that can run for a good 200, 300 the best on the wing. And with our fullback option, we got fullback depth. We don't need to have Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's not Daly M Roger Tuivasa-Sheck anymore. I don't think we want to see that.
Yeah,
And the more we're going to play him at fullback, the more miles that it's going to get into his legs, the more you probably end up seeing more niggling injuries coming into his game that he ended up picking up, the calf injury last year that put him out for a little bit there too. So those are the little things you got to worry about as well. He is, 32 now, 31? He's around that age now, right? So he
yeah,
is
yeah,
getting
definitely
older.
is.
I want him on the wing. I want him to get through a lot of that work. We got CNK right now, and I believe Tane Tuapiki is our future, and that's a plan. So that's what we're moving on to. If you got RTS at fullback, what are we doing? We're just stunting, obviously Tane Tuapiki, or wherever CNK is going to go is going to pull back one of our juniors that is coming through the grade of Ali Leotar or Tane Tuapiki, right? So we've got to think of this smartly. I think we all want to see Roger to be old Roger again. That period of where he won Daly M, incredible, right? But I think that as Wayne Bennett said, you got to pick the best team and not the best players. You know what I mean? His whole thing is, you don't
Great
pick the
analogy
best
there.
players, you pick the best team. You pick the best cohesiveness. We saw last year when you put Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at back, he's incredible at getting out on his own end, but our attacking shape faltered a little bit. We couldn't get out of the back. The playmaking skills of Rogers not up to CNK or Tane Tuapiki's level. So I believe that if we got a plan, it's Tane Tuapiki for the future. CNK is there right now. Rogers going to be our winger, get us out of yardage, which we need this year. Obviously, losing Adafin Blake, we add a better winger, quotation marks, than Montoya, a guy that runs for more meters than Montoya. That's going to help us get out of our back end, and that helps our kicking game. That helps so many other aspects of our game. As I said to you before, I believe that Tamani Martin has a better short kicking game than Tanner Boyd right now. Get him in the areas where he can use that instead of getting into the areas that we need a long 50, 60-meter kick to get us out of yardage, where Tanner Boyd's probably a little bit more, prolific. So that's just my thoughts anyway.
And it's a different. I mentioned it last night. It's a different style too, where RTS gives you a bit of like breakability. I mean, Montoya and Dallin really good at kind of direct runs from kick returns. With
Yep.
RTS now, you get like something a bit of variety.
Yep.
So yeah, and it's good to have him on the field, like for fullback cover. It might change. It might change your 18th man option. When you have
Yep.
like 3 concussions or whatever it is. So there's options there. Um, you think about maybe even 2 games last year or 2023 when Dallin had to fill in at fullback.
Mm-hmm.
Now you might say if we get a concussion to a fullback, now you got RTS at fullback. That's a little bit of an upgrade. That puts your winning percentage up a little bit. Let's say So those
Yep.
are little things that add value to him being on the field. And I agree. Wing is probably the best. You look at those yardage carries 1, 2, and 3. You get
Mm-hmm.
those involved. Those 3 involved. You're looking at getting up to the 40-meter line by that point, and then you're over the 50 and into the opposite 40, and then so those are some of the little details I really do think about. Yep.
Well, some of the other argument too, right? Like if people want RTS a fullback, the only thing I would say to you, I don't think people are wrong for thinking it because I understand
Yeah.
where they're coming from. You can past history RTS, what he was, incredible, right? But you put RTS at a fullback, obviously Tane's not going to get that fullback role in the future, which is probably better to fight it out with CNK. For me, in my head, like I think he can push CNK into that level. But we put Roger to the fullback. Who are we putting to that wing? Are we just going to go Bussy Colour in his first year since New South Wales Cup? He was his first year last year, New South Wales Cup, straight in. Are we going Ed Gossie again? Like, does it not sound better to have let's say off the kick, Dallin Wateni's Lesnak takes it back, gets a hit up, next hit up, RTS, backing it up. Then we got CNK. You know what I mean? Like if we push
Yeah.
CNK to the center, we got no Ali Leotar. We got to pick out Ali Leotar and Berry. And our wing
Yeah.
is going to falter. You know what I mean? Like for me, our best opportunities, RTS on the wing, CNK at back, Dallin on the other side. Then you got Ali Leotar and Berry on either side, who Ali definitely is pushing for a spot now. Like he's
Yeah,
ready
he is.
for it. So
He is. Again, that's a great comment. The great Wayne Bennett about pick the best team, not the best individuals.
yeah.
That's symptomatic of the New South Wales Blues, barring last year.
You didn't need to bring that up.
But then, okay, the Kangaroo smash. That's fair enough. But yeah, like I totally agree. It's about balance. It's about everything flowing and connecting.
Mm,
Yeah, so I think those things are really important. Back on the ball playing part, I definitely agree on that. I don't think CNK has, sorry, not CNK, RTS has that ball playing. The game's evolved a lot, and if you
agreed.
think about his game, let's be honest, his game is predicated on his athleticism, on his footwork. It's never been about his vision or things like that.
No, no.
It's based on his ability to outmaneuver a person through stepping or footwork, speed, acceleration. So I think a lot of the time some fullbacks they get into that pattern that when they get the ball out the back, they're seeing
Mm,
themselves as the option. So they
yep.
see themselves as, okay, this is for me to get through the line, and then secondary as a pass. Whereas fullback play this today is actually like another half in many ways. Yes, you need to be a
Yep.
threatening runner, but at the same time, you got to be able to deliver the ball as well. You got to be able to find the cutout pass, all those things, which I think the game's evolved into that as a fullback. And
Exactly.
Tane, CNK are more in that mold.
Yeah.
That's my
Agreed.
thoughts on that. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
But just quickly finishing. Do you think RTS has better finishing than what Montoya? Because Montoya, my biggest gripe with him was finishing and
Mm,
kind of that delay. Sometimes we get into our shape and it's be so deep, but it'd be hard for him to get to the corner. Do you think
yep.
RTS has a bit better finishing than what Montoya
I
was?
I would say yes. I wouldn't say he's a Dallin White he's a Lesniak type finisher in the corner. I think he
Yeah,
can
that's right.
grow obviously in today. He's an athletic phenom, like right, like he could definitely leap in the air in that. But I remember the Rabbitohs game of last year where we blew out the Rabbitohs, but there was a moment there where he got a little bit of ball in the open space, and it kind of did look awkward for him in the corner. But obviously we remember his junior days too when he was a Rooster, and he did know his way around getting to the try line and that too. So I think he's a better finisher than Montoya. But yeah, I wouldn't say he's an elite. Like for me, I think Dallin Martinez, Lesniak's up there. Like Xavier Coates is probably at the top of that list and all that. Just elite finishes in the corner, leaping in the corner, doing those one-handed rolls. Where I think Roger is more likely going to be footwork, get to the corner. He's not going to have that incredible big leap and the big arm down, but he'll get it done. And I think that's what we need. And that's the big thing too is his leadership, his defense. All those big things in the corner. He can read players really well. I think these are all things that would benefit with Roger Tuivasa-Sheck there, because we do remember last year, I felt like defensively, when everyone hated him being a center, he definitely shored up, a lot of our defensive issues there on an edge in moments where, we had inexperience, or maybe him and Montoya on the side. Montoya looked more comfortable outside of RTS, and I believe that Ali's on that side. I think RTS will make Ali seem more comfortable in the center role, being out there and calling out numbers and stuff like that, because his
Yeah.
experience, he's been around the league for a while, so.
Yeah, no, that's a great shot. Interesting angle too to maybe advocate for Tane to pick. You see a lot of people talking about Tane in the chat as well. As was a
Mm.
little glimpse that we saw with Keanu Kinney at the Kiwis in terms of a
Wing
shape
and
and a
six.
style, kind of playing in that fullback role that kind of you could see Tane kind of being in that role, how Keanu was for the Kiwis. So there's kind of little glimpses that you could see a potential smaller type fullback like Keanu, like Tane,
Yep.
working in a Warriors type system. And I think with especially a younger backline, like a Bear working with Berry and Dallin on the other side, it would be awesome to see them open up. So I think that Tane's a definite shout for fullback. And yeah, I think RTS is I think definitely wing for him. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And the way I think it will play out is I think it will be a battle between CNK and Tane in the offseason, but just knowing CNK, he's got a proper off season this season, right? Last year he had a disrupted preseason. He had injury troubles throughout the whole year. I think that's what made everyone think that he had as poor of a season that he actually did have, even though he averaged just around about his best seasons there, running for the meters and stuff like that. But I do think there's going to be a point in this season where Tane is going to take over CNK, and we are going to look into that sort of realm, or, and as I keep saying, Tane is our future. We all understand that. I don't think there's too many, clubs will be chasing him, but I'm sure the Warriors are going to be keeping Tane, on our books, especially with all the other fullbacks going around the league at the moment. I'm sure we'll be okay in that area. So Tane's definitely there for the long haul.